Next up, we have our work session. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bozen?
Here.
Mr. Nichols?
Here.
Ms. Creighton Smith?
I'm sorry. You can. Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
don't leave. We're about
Don't
to have the
leave.
budget.
Don't leave. We're gonna talk about the budget now.
About the
We're talking
budget.
about the
This
budget
is about
now.
what you
Sit
want to
down.
understand. This is
We're
the budget.
about to
Don't
have the budget
leave.
talk now.
It'll clear up some stuff. Yeah, this is what you want to
Budget.
watch.
That was public comments.
I did.
Okay. Okay. Ms. Creighton Smith?
Here,
Mr. Childs?
Here.
Mr. Simon?
here.
Ms. Wilder? Here. And Mr. Foyce?
Here. If you are going to continue to talk, I'm going to ask that you leave so we can continue on our business. Thank you. All right. I need a motion, please.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as proposed, as well as approve the minutes of the March 17th, 2025 council session as proposed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Ms. Wood, fiscal year 26 budget update, please.
Good afternoon. Again, Bridget Wood, Finance Director. Today I'll be going over what our budget is that we'll be certifying on the 21st, so the next meeting. The outline for this is to go over the published rates, which I'm going to briefly go over as they're not applicable due to being able to lower the levy rate. Balancing Act Analytics, which that is from our budget simulator and the submissions that we had received. And then our proposed certified budget for 26. Again, we originally published 2268, which is actually our max budget or our max levy rates that we could have done. It is not ever where we certify. And that just breaks down the other levy rates that's not debt service or police and fire. Again, this is what was published, so it looked like there would be an increase in the levy rate, however, there won't be. Our Balancing Act Analytics, we had a total of 3,658 page views with 15 submissions. Average time on the site was 16 minutes and 30 seconds. So the Balancing Act is our budget simulator where we had asked people to go on and look at our budget as proposed and make suggestions on revenue increases or decreases, including expenditure increases or decreases. One of the questions was, what can Waterloo improve? We received a number of answers. Mainly, it was about the library and making sure that it was fully funded, and then supporting people, especially those who are home insecure, better manage money better and stop increasing high property taxes. I don't know, I didn't make the submission. Revenue suggestions, we had included using fund balance for lowering the tax rate, was only 1 out of the 15. 5 wanted to decrease taxes, 7 wanted to decrease the police budget, and the rest wanted to increase it. 6 out of the 15 wanted to decrease the fire budget, the rest wanted to leave it the same. 2 out of the 15 wanted to decrease ambulance budget, and 2 wanted to increase, rest wanted to leave it the same. Some other suggestions we received on that were to privatize Young Arena and the Sportsplex, and to lower taxes to bring more people to Waterloo. Expenditure suggestions, we received a lot of those. Again, mainly dealing with the library and then policing budgets being reduced, and then city buildings needing repaired. That's just a general overview of what they said. The proposed budget for 26. Our levy rate is going to be going down to $21.79 so out of that, police and fire, well, actually all of them are decreasing. And the police and fire budget is not being decreased because of personnel. It has to do with the ATE tickets and the fact that the DOT removed the rights for us to have revenue on speed tickets. So that then reduced revenue and it reduced expenses. So this is the breakout of the other that was on the previous page, showing that each one of those sections are all decreasing from what was published in the paper and or with the county auditor. So again, this is how your taxes are determined on your home. On a $100,000 house, for the proposed rate, this is approximate. So we're using currents, like what we're proposing for the city tax rate, using this year's information for all the other taxing bodies because we don't know where they're landing. But according to this, the city portion of your home bill would only increase by $10.62 on a $100,000 house, which is approximately 1%. Again, the proposed budget, so the rate of 2179 is a 1.27% decrease from the current year's levy of 2207. To give you the net change in where these expenses or revenue increases are coming from, we'll see a 1.6% increase in personnel expenses. Most of those are contractual. Net decreases in other expenses of 1.7, which includes the ATE decreases, decreases for funding to the grout, decreases hotel motel tax expenses, and decreases in sidewalk expenses. I believe Jamie had said that we're working in a sidewalk area where we aren't going to need as much revenue and or expenses to get those fixed. This also, the decrease in revenue also includes not using $250,000 as originally planned from the library levy reserve, as the board had requested us not to do that. All that did then was increase our net use of our fund balance to $975,000. So overall, the city is reducing the general fund property taxes by $358,000, and the net increase for everything, including the debt service, then puts it at $537,000 increase total. Our capital projects funds, these are different capital projects throughout the city. This breaks it down into where or what funding stream they'll be used to fund some of those capital projects. It is a decrease of almost $1 million from fiscal 25 on what capital projects we have. The sewer fund has a decrease in overall budget of about 5.7 million, and that has to do with not as many SRF projects being budgeted for over the previous year, including revenues, or not revenues, but including expenses towards our fiber project. The stormwater fund, it has a decrease of about $506,000, mainly related to fewer capital outlay projects than that are being budgeted. The sanitation fund is an increase of about $230,000. Sanitation fund also covers code enforcement and animal control. Most of the increases were from personnel and increased contractual services. Road use, this was an increase of about $326,000 over fiscal 25. And this, as you can see on the breakout of where those funds are going. And it's approximately about a $12 million budget in total. Local option has a little over $20 million budget. It's an increase of about $1 million over 25. We get approximately $12 to $13 million a year in local option sales tax. So this budget here will be using some of their current reserves to balance it out. And We are doing 1.2 million to the general fund because of the referendum that was passed to have lost revenue at 80% roads and 20% property tax relief. The federal block grant funds that are being budgeted, it's an increase of about 518,000, mainly from the home federal projects that weren't in last year's budget, but it is a federal grant. And then housing funds is a $147,000 increase over last year, mainly because of housing assistance payments as well as salary and benefits. That's it. Any questions?
Council?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Strauss.
could you just, for the citizens, clearly explain why we are reducing the levy rate, yet there is a small percentage increase regardless? Can you just make sure they understand why that's happening?
So our levy rate is going down, but the reason why the property tax are not going down with it is because of the rollback that the state Department of Revenue issues or decides the percentage each year. Usually comes out in about October or November, where you can figure out what your taxes are going to be next year based on multiplying your assessed value by the rollback to get your taxable value. So since that went up by 1%, that is why our property taxes are going up by 1%.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem? Yes. Can you explain that part? Explain how the state is taking less than it was before. Can you explain that part?
How the
And for the-
state is taking.
Like you said, the difference that the state mandates.
So last year's rollback number was 46% and some change. This year's it's 47% and some change. So it went up 1%. That's again, the only reason why our property taxes aren't reducing by that 1.27%. It's the difference of the two.
And that's dictated by the state. That has nothing to do with us.
It has to do with Iowa code and how each property class can't go over, I think, 2 or 3%, or no, yeah, 2 or 3% over the entire state. So they set this rollback to try and alleviate that for all homeowners or businesses, depending on where they're at.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. So essentially what you're saying is somebody has a $100,000 house, that rollback, which last year was 46%, would say that if you have a $100,000 house, your house can be taxed as if it's a $46,000 house, but that amount is going up to where the state is saying, no, now your house can be taxed at a $47,000 house. So
Correct.
even though we're lowering the levy rate here, because the state is saying that your house is being taxed at a higher rate, that's why the amount is going up.
Correct.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem?
Did you have?
Nope.
So basically, if somebody wanted to, and I used to do this when I was younger, but if you want to go to the county courthouse, you can request to reevaluate the value of your home.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not selling your house, some people want the value of their home to remain high so they can resell it. Some people are going to live in their house for another 10, 15 years. They might want to try to reevaluate the value of their home, which would save them tax money.
Yep. They would go to the county assessor. There is, I believe, between now and the 25th of April, they can request an informal review or they can take it to the, I think it's an appeal board for their assessed valuations, and they can submit a formal review, and they will need to provide documentation on why their house isn't worth what the assessor assessed it at.
Thanks. And so I just wanted to thank you, Bridget, for that. And so we will be voting on this in 2 weeks.
Correct.
The budget rate.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Council, any further questions?
No.
All right. Thank you. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We are adjourned. We have